Meanwhile, Pakistan is having a general election on May 11th. It's a big deal because it's expected to lead to the first democratic transfer of power from one party to another in the country's 6 decades-long history. Social media is playing a big role in mobilizing voters. Here's our contributor in Pakistan, Wajahat Khan.
We've heard it before. Pakistan is always on the brink. A nuclear war, an economic meltdown, a massive refugee crisis, a polio epidemic, something. But this summer, Pakistan is on the brink of something positive. Its first ever democratic transfer of power. Elections are in a few days and almost 100 million people are expected to vote. But the concept of free and fair elections in the world's second largest Muslim country is not exactly simple or peaceful. In true South Asia style, there's election-related violence, low-level violence on the campaign trail, like a chair-throwing brawl between supporters of rival candidates. And high-impact, high-casualty violence by Islamist militants that mean to disrupt the campaigns of the country's liberal, secular, progressive, and left-leaning parties. Last week saw a surge of these attacks, almost all of them by the Taliban, who say elections are un-Islamic. But two parties, who both happen to have conservative and religious leanings, are being allowed to freely campaign by the Taliban. They are parties led by former Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif, the man who made Pakistan a nuclear weapons state in the 1990s, and Imran Khan, who made Pakistan the world champion of cricket. So the elections become a contest between Khan and Sharif, an almost American-style two-man race in a system used to multi-party competition. And guess what's happening in true American style on social media? Yep, they've gone negative. Here's a famous Pakistani rock star, once banned by Sharif for his music and his long hair, and now a guard-carrying member of Khan's party, who pokes fun at Sharif for playing his rock songs and getting hair transplants. Here's one of Pakistan's premier investigative journalists, passing judgment on Khan for stooping to the level of regular politicians. He says Khan's remarks are in poor taste, and for good measure, calling Sharif a coyote, a slur in Pakistan's dialect. But as always, the action came from the regular folks. This tweet poster was a hit among Khan's supporters, as it laid out Sharif's entire family tree, showing who got public jobs and making a strong case against dynastic politics. And here's a famous picture of Mr. Sharif palling around with the incumbent and very unpopular president, Asif Zardari. It aims to show Sharif's backroom wheeling and dealing. Ms. Khattak tweets about the mukmuka, the Punjabi equivalent of you scratch my back and I'll scratch yours. But this is where the action started. The country's biggest pop and movie icon, Ali Zafar, helped float a US-style presidential debate between Khan and Sharif, a new concept for Pakistanis. Sharif still hasn't accepted Khan's challenge, despite observations like this one. Thus, in true Americana, the elections have become a Twitter obsession. Letters written by Khan's party to Sharif have been leaked. Minute-by-minute observations about the body language of the candidates in rallies are reported by famous journalists in real time. But the appeals from the left, in this case by a famous liberal asking for both conservative contenders to support the liberal parties threatened by the Taliban, didn't get much traction. In fact, the whole liberal versus conservative debate is so intense that when a Pakistani Twitter atheist questioned Khan's religious tolerance, as well as that of his supporters, the debate got long, passionate, and even threatening. And so Pakistan's Twitter election continues in what is becoming a very star-spangled type of campaigning unknown around these parts. And Khan's party members, who were once accused of supporting the man whose critics teased him as the future Prime Minister of Facebookistan, not Pakistan, as his support was primarily on social media, are now flying high with confidence. Still, in a country known for the unexpected is expected. Social media, might help mobilize the vote in a country not used to voting. For LinkAsia, this is Wajahat from Islamabad.
Now on US airwaves, a global channel of uncompromising stories. World news, documentaries, entertainment, and culture. Link TV, connecting you to the world. For more information, visit linktv.org.